this is going to help with all that. This guy's, I think he's a chiropractor by trade, but he's the specialist in this active release. I mean, he's probably the guy in Vegas that, I mean, I've been going to him since 2003 or 4. Has he been a staple of my success in my career? Absolutely. So I want to do the hamstring and the flat, of course, and shoulder.
Alright, very good.
Whatever you think feels. I had last week off from you, so. But I do want to get this hamstring, that inside canal.
Where we were last time? Way up top?
Yeah, get it in there and then see how that feels. But you can feel there's a spot on the inside of the hamstring too. Feel kind of that?
Yeah, that's actually pretty sore. Yeah. The normal person, if you're looking at the quad, I may only have a couple inches of tissue. If you look at these ham hocks, I mean, it's 30 passes to the 2. Good. And he's getting bigger. So, I mean, Jay's dense. So what happens is, especially with inside that tissue, those fibers adhere and stick like a paintbrush with the fibers all here together. So as they start to stick and bind, it creates a scar. And what I'm doing is I'm finding those areas of concern. I'm taking a contact on them, and I'm holding a translated contact. So I'm not really compressing the tissue, even though there is some compression. You're trying to get those fibers to break free so that they can fill with blood. Ah. Oh. Ah. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, right there. Oh.
You have to laugh, it hurts so much, you know? That felt amazing though. As much as it hurt.
The biggest and most impressive thing is that each year it gets better. I deal with a lot of world-class athletes, thousands. You know, a lot of guys post-season, there's a big change in their physique. Jay stays pretty much a specimen, if you will, year-round, looking great. Right in there, bud.
Yeah. Is it the hamstring?
Yeah, that's a hamstring with a little bit of adductor. Good, come back.
I don't know what that looks like on camera, but it's like...
I can tell by how hard he's working.
But when
you raise your head, there's things
like
that
we've discussed this, the necessity of certain areas of my body, and he's like, you know, a lot of places where people won't, you know, go to really relieve what stuck, you know. He's like, well, you have to get in certain places. It may not be the most comfortable, but
you got to put in the time, and he does that, whether it be my table or the gym. I mean, you have to have a pretty trained eye to even see some of the areas of major injury. And Jay's had his fair share of injury. He's worked through it. If you were to look at the recovery rate in which he had on the bicep, you know, it's a little bit of luck, great surgical, but great rehabilitative effort. I mean, just sometimes that you can't rehab. It's like putting together 2 ends of a paintbrush. That's a feat, man, right there. That's a huge feat.
See where it tore? You can see a little bit when I do a front lat for it. See that indent? You can see it as... You can see in the right light. When you get under the stage lights, you can see it. Because the belly tore too. That's why they told me you'll never have flexion in your arm again. That's why I said I'm never going to compete again. They told me it would never be hard, it would be soft. So when it healed, the guy's like, I don't know how it healed, but he said we tied it super tight, so let's hope it heals right, and it healed okay. And it was hard as a rock, like right after. It made it bigger, so now I gotta, the other ones, this one's gonna be bigger now. Go, up, yeah! Push it. The unique thing about me is I don't have a set schedule, so it really varies on day to day how I feel, and when I train is determined on how my body feels. Typically, I go by the basic guidelines is I try to eat 3 or 4 meals before I train for sure.
Most importantly is my sleep. I need to make sure that I sleep enough, which is really only about 5 hours a night, 4 to 5 hours. But typically I train really, really late. I avoid the crowds. I don't go by any set schedule, and I don't train on a specific body part schedule. I just train specifically how my body tells me that I need to. So if I'm scheduled to do back or chest on a certain day, I might switch it and do legs. Sometimes I group body parts differently. It kind of go by feel. If I'm really sore, I'll take a day off. I don't have a set day off schedule. Like most people take a Sunday off. I don't do that. I just regularly go by feel, and that's helped me gain great success all the way along my career. It seemed to be the best thing for me.
Up and let's go. Up and.
So I like to keep the weights very heavy and do lower reps. And obviously, what happens is when you train with as much volume as me, you can't do as many repetitions because you'll just burn yourself up. I mean, you have to have one or the other. Either you're going to do less weight, you know, more repetitions and less sets, or you're going to do a lot more sets, heavier weights and less reps. So I choose to do the heavier weights, less reps, more volume, pump the muscle, keep filling it up, hit the angles. I wanted to have, obviously, freakish body parts. It was never really like, I want all eyes on me type of thing. It was never an ego, I want everyone to notice me. I wanted to look presentable where I walked around when I wasn't in contest shape and I just was big and round and people admired the muscles. I think pretty much I've secured the legacy on the competition stage. I really don't have any real specific goals as far as my physique, as far as, I'm not going in the gym and saying, well, I need to have my legs 2 inches bigger or anything like that. I think, with me, it's more on the aspect of the legacy of Jay Cutler and where it's going to go from here.
That's the show. Come on.
Let's go, Jay. Come on.
Suck it up, suck it up, suck it up, suck it up.
Mentally, you have to be, I think, a little crazy. People approach me and they say, Jay, what's the secret? What's the secret? I don't like to eat anything. If you ask me what my favorite food is, I don't have a favorite food. I don't look forward to any meal at all. You're a living legend. That's what's amazing about what I do. And I'll tell you, Jay Cutler's the greatest of all time.